Hey, I'm Ramon, and today's episode of Man Point is getting a lot manlier because Marissa's not here.
Yeah, Marissa is away right now. So, without further ado, this
is the Save Point. God, you're so bad at this, John. What's up, Monmouth University, and welcome to the Save Point, your #1 source for anything gaming. I'm your host, Ramon.
And I'm your real host, John. And in today's episode, we'll hear Chris and Dave's thoughts on this week's Arrow and the Flash, Ramon's rants, and Dave's comics and the news.
We also have Jose with your Sony update, Chris with your Gamer's Guide, and of course, your Nintendo news.
But first, here's Dave with your comics and the news.
Followed by Jose with your Sony news.
Are you my replacement girlfriend too?
Blind?
What's up, Save Pointers? Dave here with your comics and the news. Pacific Rim director Guillermo del Toro promised us that there would be more adventures from the world of Pacific Rim, and he has delivered with the announcement of a new official comic series based in the Pacific Rim world by the publishing division of Legendary Pictures. The new series, entitled Pacific Rim: Tales from the Drift, will serve as a continuation of the best-selling graphic novel prequel, Pacific Rim: Tales from Year Zero. The new series will take fans back to the front lines of the larger-than-life battleground and feature never-before-seen Jaegers facing off against all-new kaiju. Pacific Rim: Tales from the Drift is being written by iVampire and The Bunker writer Joshua Fialkov, featuring artwork by Marcos Mars, and will include a backup story created by Pacific Rim screenwriter Travis Beacom. Pacific Rim: Tales from the Drift will be a 4-issue miniseries, with the first issue being released in November 2015. My must-buy comic of the week this week is Darth Vader #3, although the reason I picked this comic has nothing really to do with Darth Vader. It's actually because Darth Vader #3 marks the debut of 3 characters that I think will become very popular very soon. The anticipation for Darth Vader #3 was very much concentrated around the appearance of Dr. Aphra, who could be considered the Indiana Jones of the Star Wars universe, because, Harrison Ford is busy playing another character. Upon further reading, there are 2 more characters that stand out a little bit more. Their names are 000, or 000 if you prefer, and BT-1. These 2 droids seem a bit familiar, like evil versions of C-3PO and R2-D2. 000 is a protocol droid who specializes in etiquette, customs, translation, and torture. Sounds like he'd be a much better match for Jabba's palace than C-3PO ever was. And he is matched by his less loquacious colleague. While R2-D2 is known as an astromech droid, BT-1 is called a blastromech droid. This droid looks enough like an astromech droid to go relatively unnoticed, but it's actually a specialized assassin droid. And the best part is, not only is it an assassin, but it's a homicidal maniac. It wiped out the base it was created on and set it to self-destruct before the little droid jettisoned itself into space. I'm hoping we can get some toy versions of these characters made by Christmas, maybe including a 000 torture chamber or a BT-1 base destruction playset. I'd buy that for sure. That's all for this week's Comics in the News. Tune in next week when I'll be talking about the beginning of DC's new event, Convergence. Now here's Jose with your Sony in the News.
Hello and welcome back, Save Pointers, to your Sony News. I am your host, Jose, and this week marks the halfway point for PlayStation's 8-week Spring Fever Sale. Each week of the Spring Fever Sale, there has been a game and movie franchise highlighted for each week, on top of the already awesome indies that are being released. Starting March 31st, the Batman franchise will be on sale through April 6th. April 7th to the 13th is the week for the Dragon Age and Lego movies. April 14th to the 20th is my personal must-buy week because Sony is putting Grand Theft Auto 5 on sale. The following and last week ends with a sale on the Call of Duty franchise. Fever indies include Axiom Verge, Bastion, Titan Souls, and Shovel Knight. Each are getting weekly releases. Last episode, I spoke of Software Update 2.50 for the PlayStation 4, and it's finally released. Make sure to update your consoles because there's a bunch of cool features I've just been wanting to get tapped into. And for all excitement purposes, Chris has already teased for it, but I want to cover the upcoming fighting game developed by NetherRealm Studios, Mortal Kombat X. Currently, there are 29 confirmed characters for the roster, all new and old from the series. My personal favorite, Jason Voorhees from the Friday the 13th series, will be making a special appearance in this gore-enriched fighter, as well as Predator from the Alien vs. Predator franchise. These two guest fighters turn this already impressive roster upside down, and if you could afford to shell out the few extra bucks for the Mortal Kombat X Collector's Edition, the Combat Pack DLC will be included, which features multiple mini packs in one awesome package. The Combat Pack can also be purchased separately for $30. It includes Jason, Tenya, Predator, Tremor, and a dozen character skins for characters in-game. A new feature was revealed on the developer's livestream for Mortal Kombat X, where rage quitters are punished for their actions. People who decide to quit their matches receive repercussions in the form of quitality. This feature has the quitting player's character head explode in the fight and counts for the loss. So it'll probably be better to stick out through those matches against the pros. Mortal Kombat X is slated to release on April 14, 2015 for PC, PlayStation 4, and Xbox One. The PlayStation 3 and Xbox 360 ports have been delayed to mid-2015. Now, back to your hosts, John and Ramon.
Seriously, where is Marissa?
Don't worry about it. As long as you have your wallet, it'll be fine. We'll be back with more gaming news after this quick break.
What's it like when you hear your calling? Will you remember where you were? Will you ignore it, or will you listen? What if it calls you to go halfway around the world? To share your skills? To serve people you've never met? To do things you never thought you could? What will you do when you hear your calling? Peace Corps. Life is calling. How far will you go?
I wish I was in school.
If only I had a math test today.
Or a book report to give.
I wish I was in school.
I'll stay after class. I'll clean the chalkboard. I'll do extra homework. I'll skip recess.
I wish I was in school.
I wish I was in school.
I really wish I was in school.
School ends, but free lunches for your kids don't have to. Find your local food bank at feedingamerica.org/summer meals for help. Together, we're feeding America.
Know what?
What?
Since I got adopted, I've learned a lot about these humans.
I know. I mean, check out these two. It's Flirt City over here.
Yeah, I noticed that. It looks like my human is definitely into your human.
Oh, look! I think she's getting his number.
Nice.
Your human's got some sweet moves.
Takes after his dog. Oh, look, they're doing that thing where they put their arms around each other.
She kicked up a leg. It's like in the movies.
That's awesome. Looks like we're going to be hanging out a little bit more.
The smallest moments can have the biggest impact on a child's life. Take time to be a dad today. Call or visit fatherhood.gov to learn more.
And 30. Oh! Yo, hey, Allison.
What's going on?
Working on my free throws. Just sung 30 straight.
30? That's not possible.
Maybe not possible for you, but I've been practicing.
Step back and give me the rock.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
1, 2, 11. You know it's harder when people are watching.
Hey, you know, 11's not that bad. All you need are a few pointers.
Thank you. Are you a free throw expert?
Well, no, not really, but I do know excellent teamwork when I see it. It's so much easier to get active and live healthier when your friends are there to motivate you with a little friendly competition.
Now let's get this game started. Oh, she's going for the hook shot. Hook shot. That's what I'm talking about.
America.
Let's get healthy together.
Hey guys, John and Ramon here. Marissa has the day off. Let's get to your Nintendo news. On March 17th, Nintendo President Satoru Iwata announced their new video game platform, currently known as Nintendo NIX. The new system may possibly combine consoles and handhelds, such as the 3DS and the Wii U. Although the Nintendo NIX won't be revealed until 2016, EB Games is already taking pre-orders from it. News of the Nintendo NIX come on the same day that Nintendo announced its new partnership with Japanese mobile company DeNA to produce games on smartphone devices. That's right, soon you'll be able to play Super Mario, The Legend of Zelda, and other Nintendo favorites on your phones.
Oh God, why? But the latest update for the 3DS, one of the most exciting so far, arrived on March 24th. Update 9.60-24 allows its users to change and save up to 8 layouts of the home menu with different theme and software icon arrangements. While adding Amiibo support for older systems, the update also adds additional categories under the View More for easier navigation of the theme shop and improves the overall system stability, as well as minor adjustments that have, once again, been made to enhance the user experience.
When Nintendo revealed the new Legend of Zelda game, that still has yet to be named, at last year's E3, many people jumped to the conclusion that Link was going to be a female. Nintendo denied that they would be gender-bending Link, but the fans began to ask why Link shouldn't be a female for one game. Since then, a group of fans had created Female Link Jam, a game jam where the objective is to create a Legend of Zelda game with a female Link. The jam will start on April 1st and run until May 1st. The only rules are that Link must be female and the game has to take place in the Zelda universe. The game can be 2D or 3D, and typical Zelda tropes such as NPCs, time manipulation, musical instruments, and magic are optional. So, Ramon, what do you think of Link being a female?
You know, I was one of those people that was like, holy crap, Link is a girl. All right, that's pretty cool. I wouldn't mind that. I mean, Link sounds like an androgynous enough name. And Anuma didn't help. Eiji Anuma literally went on Twitter when everyone was freaking out, oh my God, Link is a girl. It's like, I didn't say the person on screen in that trailer was Link. And then everything blew up. And then he was like, guys, it's Link. Oh God, that was a shitstorm. Let me not use Twitter ever again. But yeah, that's pretty much how I see it. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah, like that whole Twitter debacle is kind of an example how Nintendo's ambiguity sometimes backfires on them.
Not everyone can be Sakurai.
Yeah.
You know, you should be Iwata. Directly to you.
There's only one
And
Sakurai.
Speaking more about Zelda, a few months ago, news came out that Netflix was developing a live-action Legend of Zelda TV series. But Satoru Iwata has directly debunked these rumors, saying that the original source, the Wall Street Journal, isn't actually reliable in this case. Of course, that doesn't mean the series isn't happening, just that the information is wrong. It might be either someone or other than Netflix working on the series, or that the series is focused on a Nintendo franchise other than Zelda, Please Be Metroid, or it could just be a rumor altogether.
Nintendo's free-to-play experiment, Pokemon Shuffle, has now surpassed 2.5 million downloads as of March 23rd. This milestone was reached just 3 weeks after the game hit 1 million downloads. To celebrate this feat, players were given a free disruption delay item, and the latest update also added new stages and Pokemon.
As of March 25th, GameStop has a new stock of the Majora's Mask-themed new 3DS XL. However, stock is limited, and they are expected to not get any more in the future.
That is all for your Nintendo news. Tune in next week for more news and updates.
And we'll be taking another short break, but we'll be back after these messages.
Odds of becoming an astronaut, 1 in 13,200,000. Odds of being struck by lightning, 1 in 576,000. Odds of dating a supermodel, 1 in 88,000. Odds of bowling a perfect game, 1 in 11,500. Odds of being trapped in an elevator, 1 in 24,528. Odds of catching a ball at a major league game, 1 in 563. Odds of an injury from shaving, 1 in 6,585. Odds of tripping while texting, 1 in 10. Odds of getting cancer in your lifetime, 1 in 2 men, 1 in 3 women.
It's up to us.
To change the odds for our generation.
For the ones we love.
For our future.
If you don't like the odds,
stand up. Stand up to cancer.
It's time to join forces. Get energized. And fuel up right.
It's coming.
Because starting today, every kid in America has a mission. Bring out the action hero in you. Be part of the greatest action movie ever. The first movie that puts you in the action. Show us how you train and eat like an action hero. Join in at actionheroalliance.com.
I am who I am.
I am who I am.
I am who I am.
I am who I am because I had a great teacher.
A great teacher is a work of art.
A great teacher is a key to success.
A great teacher can change a life.
A great teacher changed my life.
Linda Bodie.
Hunter Frost.
Mr. Isaacson.
Mr. Khan.
I learned that I didn't need to be like everybody else.
I learned that everything is possible.
I learned not to sweat the small stuff.
I learned that you can approach knowledge with a sense of wonder and fun.
I didn't learn how to speak Spanish, even though she was my Spanish teacher, but I did learn how to be myself.
Mr. Isaacson, it's been a long time, but thank you.
Anne-Marie Darcy, Craig Smith, thank you very much.
Thank you, Hunter Frost.
Mr. Glass, I thank you.
Charlotte Pace, thank you.
To each and every one of my teachers, thank you.
It's Timothy Green's first day at school.
What's in there? He's about to fall over.
Anything he might need. There's a box of tissues on the bottom and some Band-Aids. There's a whole first aid kit, actually.
Mom, I can handle it from here.
You don't have to be perfect
Have a great day.
That's too much pressure.
Have the day you have.
to be a perfect parent.
There are 2 people in the world who want you more than anything. They'll make some mistakes, but they will love you more than you can ever imagine.
There are thousands of children in foster care who will take you just as you are.
After school today, I will be dead. I can't go on any longer. Nobody even knows I exist. They pass through me like air, like nothingness. That's what I am. Nothing.
Oh, hey Marissa! Check out this awesome new game!
Let them fight.
Oh.
Let's play this game.
Swag. Swag. Swag, what? What are you doing? I'm on HawkTV12.com. HawkTV12.com? Yeah, it's so cool. You can watch all the Hawk TV programs on here, and it has the TV guide and... Phew, that was close.
Welcome back, Save Pointers. Next up, we have Chris with your Gamer's Guide, and then he joins Dave to talk about this week's Arrow and the Flash.
Followed by the clown sitting next to me with his latest edition of Ramon's Rants.
This is why Marissa's gone.
What's up, everyone? Chris here, and welcome to your Gamer's Guide. Today, I'll be going over a Batman Arkham Knight setback and some news regarding the much-anticipated Mortal Kombat X. So let's get started. Starting off, Batman Arkham Knight has been delayed. Again. Initially, the game was planned for a release on October 14th of last year and then pushed back to a June 1st release. However, as of March 24th, via Twitter, Arkham Knight will now be released on or around June 23rd. This is disturbing news to everyone who's a fan of the Arkham series and is certainly going to break the hearts of college kids who are planning to play this at the beginning of summer break. Dave? I personally cannot wait for the official release. Now, I might not actually buy the game, but I can't wait to see walkthroughs and other gameplay videos. And who knows? Maybe we'll have some new gameplay walkthroughs for you via yours truly, and maybe even some Big Frank himself. Only time will tell. This game was announced last year with some pretty awesome cinematic trailers, so let's hope that by the time we're able to play it, it will live up to all the hype. Finally, to round off this week's news, we got some interesting information regarding Mortal Kombat X via a downloadable content trailer. Like its predecessor, the NetherRealm team has whipped up some out-of-series characters to be playable in the new game. With a pre-order, you will be able to play as Jason Voorhees, Tanya, Tremor, and the Predator. Hopefully, these characters will add a new element to the game and will be fun to play. Little is known about each of their abilities, but let's be honest, we don't even know the full cast yet. Personally, I'm not a fan of the NetherRealm bringing in random characters, but if it sells, why not? I'm interested to see how this game will turn out as a whole. I was personally a fan of the Injustice game over Mortal Kombat 9. So I'm super excited that they brought back the Injustice fighting mechanics. Can anyone say stage combos? But that might also be because of my personal biases towards DC Comics heroes. Mortal Kombat X is set to release on April 14th, 2015, so definitely keep your eye out for that one, because I know I'm pumped to play with my friends. Well, that's all for this week's Gamer's Guide. Stay tuned for more information on each of these games. Until next time, see ya. Hey everyone, Chris and Dave here, and can we just start off by saying, what the f***? Well, today we'll be going over the past 2 weeks of The Flash and Arrow. Now you may be asking what about Gotham? Where is Gotham? Well, Gotham is currently on a short break until April 13th, so you'll just have to be patient.
Now, there's a bunch of stuff that's been going on lately, especially on The Flash. So let's get Arrow out of the way first. Don't worry, Arrow, I still love you.
Okay, so the first thing that we want to talk about is the Atom.
Yes, the super suit, I was surprised with it. On a CW budget, I didn't think they'd be able to pull it off that well, but it looked good.
Yeah, and like he had like those blasters and stuff like that.
Yeah, a lot of people I saw on Twitter, a lot of people thought he was Iron Man.
Yeah.
And I was like, yeah, like no.
Like you can't really, I mean, like the way that they had it, the rendition and stuff, yeah, it was all right. I thought they did a good job with how it looked, but I think they, like we were saying before, they spent a little bit too little time developing how he learned how to use a suit. Like it was almost, okay, I built the suit, I'm not going to explain how everything works, but I can just use it right away.
And I think they also didn't develop enough how he feels about the Arrow. I didn't really buy him disliking the Arrow. I think what they should have done is, since his fiance was killed in the Deathstroke attack, they should have established that he blames the Arrow.
Yeah.
That would have been so much more believable.
And if they had a flashback, that would have just been that would have been a simple 2 to 3 second scene, I mean, a little bit more, maybe like like 30 seconds of just him at his office, Mirakuru attacks, his wife dies, and then just show like the terror on his face and stuff.
And maybe even then a shot of the Arrow there and him like, it was you.
Yeah. Okay, now what about Felicity?
What about Felicity?
She's flip-flopping throughout. Well, last week's episode, or 2 weeks ago's episode, she was just like, hey, I'm with, what was it, Ray?
Right, yeah.
Yeah,
Ray
I'm with Ray now. And then this week, she's like, I want to be with Ray, but I'm not going. But then Ray's like, no, I don't want to be with you.
I think the problem is, like Oliver said in this week's episode, Ray is a lot like Oliver. And I don't think Felicity realized until recently. And she's kind of screwed now. She doesn't know what to do.
Now, going on to this week's episode, what did you think of Deadshot? And I don't know if you saw on Twitter, he was actually trending worldwide.
I didn't see that.
#Deadshot.
#Deadshot was trending.
Yes.
I didn't see that. That's good to hear. Because Deadshot, well, isn't Deadshot going to be in the Suicide Squad movie, right?
Yes,
Played by
he
Will
is.
Smith?
Yes,
yeah,
he
so I
is.
mean, that's cool. I really liked the flashback parts with Deadshot. At first, I was kind of disappointed that we didn't get any Oliver flashback scenes, because last thing we saw on that was he saw
chased.
Shadow.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
He was chasing the kid in Shadow. So I mean, I'm pretty excited to see where that goes. But I was really, I really liked those flashbacks. It showed how Deadshot became, or how Floyd Lawton became Deadshot by suffering from PTSD.
Yeah. Speaking of PTSD, this shirt actually, it supports the fund for PTSD created by Stephen Amell himself.
I did not know that. So you were telling me about that before. You didn't mention that.
Yeah, I'm saving a surprise.
Oh.
Now, moving on to Ra's al Ghul, because I personally was a little bit disappointed with last week's episode. It was just a little bit too unfulfilling. I rushed home to go see it because I was expecting, like a bunch of action and stuff. And yeah, you got action, but it was almost as if they neglected a little bit too much of the story.
It was, I'm thinking the same thing. They kind of relied a little too heavily on the action scenes, especially that fight towards the beginning in the warehouse or whatever with the three poser arrows, and then Maceo comes along, and I felt like that scene just took way too long.
Am I the only one who noticed this? But going back to like fight scenes and stuff, when Adam came and he shocked Roy, Arsenal into the thing, when Oliver left, he just left Roy on the ground unconscious and shocked.
Oh my gosh, you're right, he did. Where's Roy? He just forgot. Maybe this will be the thing, the catalyst that gets Roy to be like, screw
Oliver, you left me. I saw that, I was like, wait, so is Roy? I was thinking, is Roy still on the ground?
As far as we know, Roy is just still unconscious.
Okay, but so Ra's al Ghul, or Ra's al Ghul, do you think that Oliver should or should not?
I don't think he should, but I think he may end up doing it, because I think by the end of season 3, he may accept the offer.
Because of all the killing that's going on.
Yeah, I think the city might turn against him, and he may have no other choice.
And then finally, to wrap up Arrow, what do you think about Laurel's new trainer that we saw 2 weeks ago?
Nyssa Al Ghul.
Yes.
I think it's a little dangerous for her to be learning from an assassin.
Yeah.
Especially the daughter of Ra's al Ghul.
And as we saw, she has like a cast on her hand this week.
Yeah, she obviously got hurt. So I don't know. Where's Ted Grant? I've said this before. Where is Ted Grant? I want Ted Grant back.
They showed him during the uprising, and he was just knocked out. And then he's gone.
he implied that he was gonna die, but we didn't see him die, just like we didn't see Deadshot die. I don't think Deadshot's dead either.
Yeah. Kind of left it at the same thing with Roy. No one knows what happened. He's just laying there.
Yeah, they really left us hanging this week.
Yeah. And how did one question to be final? How did Ray know about Ted
Oliver?
Grant? No, Ted Grant. Because when he confronted Laurel in the police station, he was saying, "Oh, I know that you're like the Black Canary. I know that you've been training with your boy Ted Grant or the Wildcat."
Yeah, well, I mean, I think it's pretty. He's obviously a very intelligent guy, so it's pretty easy for him to have put 2 and 2 together to figure out that she's Black Canary and she has the injury.
Yeah, I understood that.
But yeah, Ted Grant, I don't know. Maybe he found
out of nowhere.
Maybe he found like evidence that she was training with him, just because they were training legally. They weren't like hiding it or anything like that. So you never know.
Yeah, but that's it.
Well, we're going to be taking a short break. We'll be right back with what you might call the most important episode of The Flash to date. Stay tuned, Safe Pointers.
Hi, I'm Laura Kepler, Miss America 2012. I had a lot of mentors throughout my life. Thinking back to high school, I specifically had 2 dance teachers who were involved in theater and music. What was really most important was knowing that she was there for me no matter what circumstance I was going through, and that no matter what we were doing or where we were, she was always an ear to listen to whatever I had to talk about, and I knew that she would be there for me no matter what. Knowing that the past does not have to limit your possibilities and does not have to limit who you are or what you will become is one of the main messages that my mentor instilled in me, and is something that I carry through my journey as Miss America and try and instill in other children as well. So it's definitely shaped who I am today and how I choose to give back as Miss America. If you think about the children of our country being the future of our country, and that one mentee could mentor the next president of the United States, or the next Miss America, or the next doctor to cure cancer, or the next teacher, those are the reasons why we need mentors. I've experienced the impact of mentoring firsthand. Together, let's start something for kids in your community at Big Brothers Big Sisters.
I look up to a lot of the older heads, you know, the innovators, the heads of the art movements of the past. They kept it really edgy, and like a lot of the Latin American muralists and Latin American artists, and their styles were very unique and new to their time. You know, somewhat controversial, but that's who I look up to mainly. Personally, I'm very excited about going to college. It's something new and it's something different than what I'm used to. I'm definitely going to be a little out of my element, but that's what makes it so exciting, is that, you know, it's something fresh. Well, there's so many opportunities that I think I could miss out on if I didn't go, you know? Getting into college takes planning and vision. You know, it's just like when I take a brick wall and turn it into a canvas for my art. Paintings help me realize that I've got what it takes.
In the small town of Elmira, New York, a boy was born into an all-American family. The odds of him opening his own clothing store at the age of 18? 1 in 138,000. Excited to be a part of pop culture, he packed for the big city. The odds of finding someone to invest in his vision? 1 in 4.5 million. The odds of him achieving his dream in the fashion industry? 1 in 23 million. The odds of having a child diagnosed with autism? 1 in 88. I am Tommy Hilfiger, and my family is affected by autism. Learn more at autismspeaks.org/signs. Early diagnosis can make a lifetime of difference.
Okay, I'm zooming in.
Say your line now.
He'll get used to the sound.
All right, let's take it from the top.
What's up, guys? We are back, and now it's time to get down to business with some flashpoints. So, what do you think of Cisco and Iris's boss's investigation of Harrison Wells?
It's not a good idea.
As we saw.
As we saw, yeah, no, if you invest, everyone who has investigated Harrison Wells dies immediately.
Cisco 2 weeks ago, and then Iris's boss this week.
So now that Barry is believing what everybody else everybody that's dead has to say about Harrison Wells, do you think Barry will die?
No.
Maybe it's the end of the Flash.
Imagine.
Who knows?
Who knows? But before we get into what Barry's going to do, what did you think of the whole sequence with like Weather Wizard and everything, and how all of that led up to what we now know?
I think, yeah, these past 2 episodes are a really good indication of how we're going to see time travel moving forward. I think, especially this past week's episode, it was all about showing Barry how that you can't just use time travel. Every time someone dies, you can't just turn back the clock.
And that he lacked the ability to.
Yeah, he couldn't redo it. Yeah, which I found interesting. But I thought the weirdest part was when Harrison Wells started talking to him about time travel and like giving him concrete information about time travel. Why did Barry not say, "How do you know about time travel?
How do you know about that?"
And then, although I guess at that point he would have been like, "My name's Eobard Thawne, and you're dead." Brr.
Yeah, we saw him do that twice. So the first time on Cisco, it wasn't as bloody. It was just you saw him like speed up his hand. And Cisco was saying, like, "Who are you?" And he said, "I'm Eobard Thawne." And then he's like Eddie Thawne? And then he's like, "You can call him a distant relative."
Yeah.
What do you think of that? Do you think that Harrison Wells, going back to our theories like a while ago, last semester, do you think that Harrison Wells is Eddie Thawne, or do you think that he's like his brother or something like that?
I think he was telling the truth about that distant relative part. He's probably a great grandfather, granduncle, or something like that. But probably grandfather, because I think if you remember in the first time we really saw, or at least the gang interacted with Reverse Flash, the Reverse Flash like went after Eddie, but then dodged last second.
Yeah.
So I think that shows that he can't hurt Eddie. If Eddie gets hurt or killed, that's going to create some problems for Harrison.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. And then, so what do you think of like the whole reveal? Just let's start with the Reverse Flash reveal first.
I mean, being a comic fan, I kind of saw the Eobard Thawne part coming, but I don't know. I feel like Grant Gustin has been saying for a while now that nobody has predicted the season finale twist.
Yeah.
And I find that incredibly hard to believe. I feel like this is what we have. I don't know. I can't think of anything.
Maybe he just doesn't watch our show, though.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like there can't be much more. Like there can't be that bigger of a twist.
Rather than, Barry himself becoming Eobard Thawne, and for some reason, like he's just, hey, I'm gonna take up Eddie's last name or something.
Yeah.
But Okay, so then what do you think of going back to Weather Wizard? I guess he's like the causation of Barry revealing to Iris that he hasn't stopped thinking about her, she hasn't stopped thinking about him, and then he doesn't want her to find out this way, but he turns us into the Flash, right there.
I mean, at that moment in that timeline, I thought it was nice. Iris finally knows his secret and has revealed her feelings for him. And then, if we had seen that timeline, I would have liked to see that relationship move forward. Fortunately, we didn't get to see that.
Yeah, and then how do you think like the dynamics now that he did travel back in time and he tried to recreate the same thing, like telling Iris that he still loved her?
Yeah, that also another thing that shows that you can't just go back in time, and things that you learn in certain timelines, if you do go back in time and change it, that may not be true, or whatever, or like Harrison Wells said, the subconscious mind is a very powerful thing. She may not know that she has these feelings.
Do you think that this is the start of the Flashpoint? Like we know what the whole Flashpoint thing is. Like, time travel. Some things get messed up,
I feel like it shouldn't be, because I think Barry should have learned his lesson. I don't want to see Barry, when he does go back in time to the point in which his mom was killed, I don't want to see him try to save her. He needs to man up and save himself, because that's what it was. I think he saves himself, and when he leaves,
that's when he
kills his mom. Eobard gets his chance.
Let's see. What do you think of like him just gaining these new powers? Because I know next week he fights the Trickster and he slaps on that explosive bomb. And from episodes of even like the Justice League and different things with the Flash in it,
that thing's been used before. That type of weapon.
He can. Do you think that he'll eventually learn to, vibrate his molecules so fast that he can go through things, and that's next episode, that's when he's going to learn?
Yeah, I think you just spoiled next episode. Yeah, I think he's going to learn to vibrate himself through things like the Reverse Flash can do.
Yeah, and so finally to wrap it off, what's next for Barry? What is he going to do? What do you think?
I think, well, I want to hear more about that deal that he struck with Captain Cold.
Oh, yeah.
The deal was that, when Cold kidnapped Cisco and his brother, he forced...
And Golden Glider was there, too.
Yeah, and Golden Glider, I liked her. She was cool. He forced Cisco to tell him who the Flash was in exchange to let them go and not kill his brother.
Yeah.
And so, do you think Cold told his sister and Heatwave?
I don't know.
Because it seems to me like he didn't.
And throughout the series, we've seen that Cold is, even though he has like a relationship to Heatwave.
Heatwave, yeah, I forget his first name, but yeah, Heatwave.
That, he keeps to himself. There's times where he disagrees with Heatwave, that he doesn't necessarily approve of what Heatwave wants to do. And I think that he probably didn't tell them just because that's his kind of like key, that's his secret and stuff.
Yeah, I think that's he's gonna hold that piece of information for as long as he can and try to use it. And again, I want to learn more about this deal, because they made a deal that the Flash wouldn't put them in the particle accelerator jail, and as long as as long as they didn't kill anyone and they didn't go after the Flash's friends or family.
Yeah.
Which is it's kind of like the deal that the Rogues Gallery has with the Flash in the comics. But I don't know if it'll translate to television that well. I don't think that the mainstream audience will really get that and accept it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, but I think that's.
Yeah, I think that's all we have for you this week. That's all we have for you for this week's CW update. If you want to catch reruns of these shows, log on to the CW website where you can catch the latest episodes of each show. Also, for more comic book news and updates, tune into the Spoiler Report, starring yours truly every Tuesday morning at 9 a.m. on WMCX 88.9 FM. See you guys later.
Hey guys, it's Ramon, and today, instead of blowing my vocal cords out and ranting about something, today I'm going to do another review. There's been a game that I've been sinking a lot of my time in, and it's Dragon Ball Xenoverse. Now, a little bit of background, I'm a huge DBZ fan, so when I heard that this was going to be a really good Dragon Ball game, you know, my wallet practically flew into my laptop. You know, Steam just immediately got my money. As far as the game itself, you know, usually when I talk about a DBZ game and I want to review it, usually I skip over the story because it's usually the same, you know, tried and true story over time. You know, Vegeta, Frieza, Cell, Boo, maybe GT, maybe the movies. But this time they did something different. It's a huge what if scenario. It's like, what if someone went back in time and screwed with the official Dragon Ball timeline? So, you know, they made Hercule stronger, they made 3 Boos at the same time, and a bunch of other stuff just gets completely thrown out of whack. I don't want to spoil it for those of you who haven't played it or are on the fence about getting it, but it's, you know, the story is very different, and I commend Namco Bandai for doing something really great with the story this time around. You know, it's something you don't usually see in a DBZ game. Next, I want to talk about the gameplay. The gameplay, I have to say, it is the most solid DBZ game in quite some time. The last couple of DBZ games, I'm going to put it lightly, they sucked. Like, really sucked. I mean, Battle of Z, it's a fighting game with no local multiplayer. If I'm buying a fighting game, I'm buying it so I can sit on the couch, play with my buddies. And Ultimate Tenkaichi, excuse me for a second. Ugh. Ugh. We don't like to talk about that one. There's button mashing and it's horrible. But the new game, Xenoverse, great mechanics overall. It plays just like Raging Blast, to an extent. Energy charging actually isn't a, you know, every class gets. It's something that you have to, unfortunately, sacrifice a skill slot for, but more on that later. When you start up the game, you get the choice of either 5 races: Human, Saiyan, Frieza race, Boo, or Namekian. And with certain classes, you get to pick either male or female. The only classes that don't have gender are the Frieza race and the Namekian race. I mean, everyone knows the Namekians don't have gender, but I don't know about Frieza. I mean, I thought he was a girl, to be honest, when I first saw it. But anyway, so each of these classes have different attributes. The Boos have a lot of defense, Namekians have a lot of stamina, Frieza's race is the fastest, the Humans, as usual, jack of all stats, and the Saiyans, low health, but they like to hit things hard, much like the actual thing. Now, you go through the story as the Time Patrol. Yes, that's right, you are literally the Time Police. Now, when I got into this game, my first thought was, oh, it's going to be your standard MMO fare, you know, click, skill, 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 but it plays like any other Dragon Ball Z game, which I love about it. So, you know, grinding for items, I won't say it's fun, but it's better than most games when you have to do that stuff. And the combat is very fluid. Pretty much you have your basic light attacks, heavy attacks, throwing key blasts, and if you hold down, if you're playing on an Xbox, you would hold down the right trigger and any of the face buttons to do any of your skills, such as the signature Kamehameha to the lesser-known Crusher Ball from Jace. Now, if you were to hold both triggers at the same time, you can access super moves. For the Saiyan class, one of these slots might be taken up by a transformation, whether it's Super Saiyan 2, etc., etc. Now, the gameplay is very solid, but I do have a few problems with it. First and foremost, the fact that you have to sacrifice a skill slot just so you can charge your energy. That, I mean, I get why they did that, but it's to me, I guess it might be nostalgia glasses. It might just be it's unorthodox, but I personally don't like it. The other thing I'm not a huge fan of is the lack of energy beam clashes. Because, you know, any other Dragon Ball Z game, if 2 people are firing Kamehameha at the same time, you guys are going to be breaking controllers trying to hit those analog sticks so you can, you know, beat the opponent. And, you know, it was cool. Now they just slide through each other like they don't exist. It's kind of boring, but, you know, apparently there are people that didn't like that. I mean, we don't talk about those people, though. Those people are crazy. But whatever. Now, we get on to the music. The music is phenomenal. I mean, granted, it can be a little low sometimes, which is, you know, the sound director, you know, he might not have done a good job, you know, mixing the audio with the sound effects. The sound effects tend to overpower the music a little more than they should. You know, but as far as everything else, it still has that great, DBZ humor. I mean, Trunks is still Trunks, Goku is still Goku, Vegeta is still screaming at things. And they even got some of the voice actors from the original dub to come back and reprise their roles. They got the original Cell to come back, and boy is he happy to be back. Like, he is a complete ham. But, like with every game, it's not perfect. There are things that I just can't stand about the game. Now, if you excuse me for a moment, I'm going to get very angry because the servers for this game, like, what the hell? Like, come on. I literally have to get all my friends, we'd all sit in a row, and we'd like, all right, first one to get to the servers has to invite us to their game because these fucking servers just don't work. Pardon my French. It's amazing how they screwed this up. They had to release a patch to fix the servers, which I appreciate, but there are a lot of other nitpicks I also have. It's like, a lot of the time, you'll hear someone say something, and then the subtitles on the bottom will say something completely different. And it's a small thing, but it really drags down the presentation. Solid game mechanics, but the presentation is really just, it's lacking in a lot of places. And the other thing I really don't like is grinding for items. My God. All right, so if you're a Saiyan, you definitely know this struggle. You need to unlock Super Saiyan, you want to unlock it during the Frieza saga. All right, fair enough. So prepare for 12 hours on end, I shit you not, you will be grinding on the same mission over and over and over and over. And every time at the end of the mission, did I get it? Did I get it? Did I get it? Did I get it? No. You finally get it and you feel triumph, and then you realize you can go Super Saiyan 2. And it happens all over again. But despite that, I'd say these flaws don't drag it down too much, but there are a lot of problems. There are a lot of glitches, a lot with the voice. A good plus is that they managed to acknowledge the abridged series, and they have Ghost Nappa as one of the custom character voices. But overall, I think it's a pretty good game. There's some things here and there that they could fix, but nothing that absolutely hinders the game, because the most important part of the game to me is the gameplay, and it does solidly at that point. Hopefully this convinced you to buy the game, or if those nitpicks are too much for you, they convince you to not buy the game. Either way, hope you got something from this review. You all have a good night, and I will see you later.
Died ready. Hello, all you safe pointers. John here, and right now I have a very, very interesting interview to present with you guys. So I have Professor Demersion from the communications department right here, and he has something very special that he wants to talk to you all about. So, Professor Demersion, Tell me about the special class that you are planning on adding to Monmouth's roster.
Cool. The Interactive Media Minor, a committee of people from all over the school, have put together a class that's trying to mix a bunch of the different departments that never really get to work together to create a year-long video game, a 3D video game that's a collaborative project that's probably between 15 to 18 students across the whole university. So I'm really totally psyched about it, and I think it's going to be really cool. We're going to be modifying a Unity game engine or Unreal game engine, which are the kind of two most popular ones to use for your 3D gaming mod stuff. And the cool thing is that it's open to students in the communication department, art department, music department to all be able to contribute their own kind of elements. So you could make, if you're a composer, music for the video game. If you're in the communication department, you may want to look at script writing or doing voiceover or recording the voiceover or doing cutscenes and things like that. Any way that you can get involved, we'd love to have you on board.
That is really smart, like having each major composed into a niche to make the video game a whole, like for music and cutscenes and programming even. So tell me, how would students get involved into this project? How would you reach out to them?
Right, it's a good question. It's been really tricky. This is for a year I've been trying to work out how do you get involved, how do you bring all these different people together into one place so they're talking. There's a class that you have to take as a senior called a Perspectives class. It's an ISP course type, and everyone has to take it. So that seemed like a really good candidate. That's going to happen in the fall. And what we've made is a class called Critical Play, the Aesthetics of Video Games. And so you're reading a lot of literature. There's so much cool literature right now about video games and a lot of the theory behind it. And it's a great way to bring people from computer science and comm and music and all over the school together in one location to think about, to read and research the history of video games, but also to look at them critically and then develop their own ideas about what would be a really awesome new game to create together.
Oh, so it's going to be sort of like the X in a way? Like just on a broader spectrum and making a video game?
Yeah, I mean, that's right. I think some of I think the closest kind of comparative piece is something like Blue Hawk Records, where the students are going to work together, but there's going to be this final outcome that's going to get released. So we're hoping to publicly release this video game at the end of the year. So in May next year, hopefully we're sitting here talking about how awesome the gameplay is, and you guys will be critiquing it this is really cool, hopefully. So that's the idea, is to have it be something that has a life outside of Monmouth University, that you can say, I wrote the script for this, level, or I was the kind of key person that proposed this idea that made this possible.
Yeah, and it has a lasting legacy to it. The game will still be around even when the class is over.
Right, and even when you move on. So we're trying to simulate real-world experiences for you guys to develop your portfolio, to be able to work in teams with software engineers and computer scientists to really make something cool that you can be proud of.
So I see that you're bringing the students together for Critical Play in the fall, but what happens after that?
So after everyone comes together and comes up with the idea for the concept collaboratively, in the spring semester, each student can work with in an independent study. So you'd take a class that's an independent study in video game production and using a CO 399 or CO 499. Just come see me with that and I'll walk you through it. I would be your teacher, with that. But the music people would there's an independent study in music, art, comm, etc. And so they're all doing an independent study we're still working with the software engineering groups. They're still meeting, but it's not a formal class that actually meets at Tuesday at 8:30 a.m. It's something that we're kind of meeting periodically, but you're really working a lot with different resources kind of online and meeting with me every once in a while. So it's something that if you're doing an internship, it might be a good flexible class that you can take where you don't have to be locked down to like every Friday you have to wake up at 8:30.
Well, unfortunately, that is all the time we have for this interview today. In closing, I know some of you are interested in this project, I can tell, and I am as well, so I'm just going to ask this question. How would we, me and the viewer, learn more about this project so that we could hopefully do it?
The easiest way to get a hold of me is through my email. It's ademirji@monmouth.edu. So anytime, if you have a question, it's Saturday at 4 in the morning, blast me an email and I'll get right back to you. Well, maybe not too soon. I'll get back to you and we can go over any questions that you have.
Well, remember you heard it here first, here at the Save Point.
That's our show, Save Pointers. Marissa should be back next week, assuming John pays me the ransom money.
Wait, that was you?
Well, I guess we'll see you next time. Until then, we've reached the Save Point. I mean, man,